What's going on? This is Ryan, and I'm going to show you another trick to improve your game at Tetris Attack. So in the previous video I kind of went over a good warm-up and how to train your eyes to see a block move from one place to the other without thinking about it. You should master that technique before you start moving on to actual chaining, and trust me, it'll help you immensely. But once you have that mastered, go ahead and start another endless match at the slowest speed on easy and pick your character. For this lesson, I'm going to show you how to start vertical chains. So what I've found from playing this game is that there's really two ways to start a good chain. You can either start a chain from a horizontal line clear, or you can start one from a vertical line clear. Generally what I find is that it's easier to start chains from vertical line clears or vertical chains. I find that those are easier to learn and easier to accomplish, but the trade-off is that they don't usually last as long, or they're more difficult to keep going. But in this video I'll show you how to start them. So the critical thing when starting a vertical chain is to first identify your starting point. In this case, my starting point are the red blocks in this 6-block quadrant here. By simply switching these two, I will start the chain. But before I even do that, I want to observe my surrounding blocks. And what I've seen just from this precursory glance is that there's a green block on top of this, a purple block on top of this, and there's 2 purple blocks below. So what I've already decided is that I want to clear this line here, and I want to start my chain with purples. Before I even start the chain, I always identify the next one. That's the most important part of chaining, is identifying the next part of the chain before you complete the previous part. So just to give you an example of how this looks, because I've already identified it, I'll start the chain. Since I already knew what I was going to do, I had enough time to do it. Remember that you always want to move while the blocks are clearing. Let me give you another example. Just ignore this clearing here, this is just random. Okay, here's another example. In this 9 quadrant here, I've identified 3 green blocks that I can clear vertically with this switch. With this switch, what will happen is that the red block on top will fall down, and I've already identified that by clearing this line right here with the green blocks, the red block will fall here and clear the red blocks here. Since I've already identified that, I no longer have to think about this part of the chain. I know it's going to happen. And it does. So that's the kind of mindset you want to get in when you start doing vertical chains. You always want to identify the starting point first, and then pay attention to the block that's on top of it and where it's going to fall. For instance, the yellows. The block on top is a green one. When this green block falls, it'll land here, and I notice that there's 2 blocks below it, 2 green blocks that'll be easy to combo. So now that I've identified it, I go ahead and start it, and I bring the 2 green blocks down. I'll show you a few more examples. Let me just lower the stack here a little bit. And this takes time to get good at, trust me. I mean, I'm not saying that this should be easy for you. It takes time to identify these things quickly with your eye, and that's where practice comes in, but this is the mindset that you want to get into. Like here, these 2 blue blocks, if I move this 1 blue block here, this green one will go to the other side, and the 2 greens on top of the blue blocks will fall down and create a 3 line here. There, I've just made another vertical chain. And right now I'm only showing you vertical chains that are existing already. We haven't even touched how to set them up yourself. This is just pre-existing chains. Here's the tricky one. The 3 red blocks, the blue block on top will fall down, and I'll catch it with these 2 blue blocks. Let's bring the stack down a little bit. Let me show you one more time. Let's do these 3 greens. There's 2 greens here. Let's bring this 3rd green over here. By doing this, the yellow block will fall down and it will catch this line of yellows. Now that I've identified it, I'll execute it, and I already know it's going to happen, so I no longer had to think about it. And you can see, once you know that a combo is going to happen, it basically frees your mind to think about your next move. That's always what you want to do, is be thinking about your next move. I hope that helps.